I can see you all quietly joining from all over the southwest of Wales. Wonderful. Welcome. I will start with a little bit of housekeeping for those that maybe haven't done one of these Zooms with us before. So if you can mute your microphone, if you can work that out, tap the screen and you can mute it. It just makes it much, much easier for Michelle when she's doing her presentation, that there isn't background noise and things. So if you could mute that. So that's one important thing. And the other really, really important thing is, whilst Michelle is going to give us an inspiring presentation this morning about Cunard, it's really important for me that you take the opportunity to put her in the spotlight and ask her lots of tricky questions and things that maybe aren't covered in the presentation that you want to know. So to do that, simply again, tap your screen. There is a chat button. Type away into the chat button any question you want, and at the end I will ask Michelle all those tricky questions you want answering and put her on the spot. So please grab the opportunity to ask her anything that you want to know about Cunard, because it's a great opportunity. So as we say, we're joined this morning by Michelle, who's from Cunard. Cunard is, well, whenever I think of Cunard, I just think classic ocean cruising is probably the immediate thing that springs to mind. She's smiling now at the thought of that because it's right. And I think the other thing that's wonderful about today for the cruise industry in general, obviously for Cunard, is yesterday's announcement that finally the ban, if you like, has been lifted on cruising. It's been on for quite some time. It was lifted, and so cruising can recommence from the 17th of May, currently only around the UK. And then obviously we'll build out from there, and there'll be Europe will probably go next, and then worldwide from there. So we can already see the impact of the vaccination success that we're getting, and also behind the scenes a phenomenal amount of work that the cruise industry have been doing, working with the government around protocols for the restart of cruising. An awful lot of work has gone on, and that's been rewarded with the green light being given for cruise, which is brilliant. So not only are you going to get the presentation today, but it's a real book with confidence message, I think, that finally that embargo has been lifted and things are moving forward, which is wonderful news. So anyway, I won't take up any more time. Without further ado, I'll introduce Michelle Blake from Cunard, who's going to inspire us for a half an hour or 40 minutes on Cunard. But as I say, please grab that opportunity to ask her those tricky questions and I'll pick them up at the end. Michelle, it's over to you.
Thank you, Miles. That sounds like he's encouraging some naughty questions there, but thank you very much. It's lovely to see you all. I will pre-warn you, I have a 7-month-old puppy running around. He was very much the star of the show when I gave the Miles Morgan team some training this morning. The joys of working from home. So it's fabulous to see so many of you join us today. Thank you so much for coming on and saying hello to us. And I was just telling Miles, of course, normally at this time of year, we would have a fabulous Miles Morgan cruise event, which I'm really missing, the opportunity to be able to see you all face to face. So hopefully we will be able to see you again soon. And today I'm here to tell you all about Cunard, our new 2023 itineraries that are going on sale very, very soon. And I'm going to share where our itineraries are travelling to, a bit of history, and some of the ports of call we'll be visiting, and some fabulous videos and content, and just a reminder of all the fabulous things about Cunard. So I'll start with a really fabulous video just to introduce you to Cunard and one of the showstoppers that we offered our guests a couple of years ago. So that was our fabulous three queens sailing up the Solent from Southampton back in 2018, which seems like a long time ago now. But today I'm here to talk to you about 2023. 2023 is going to be an absolutely spectacular year for us. It's a real year of celebration, and especially the round world voyage. So we are celebrating our centenary world voyages. It will be 100 years since the RMS Laconia first left Southampton for her round world voyage, for the first ever round world voyage. So Queen Victoria and Queen Mary 2 will be embarking from Southampton at the same time on the 11th of January 2023. And they'll be sailing from Southampton together and taking in some of those historic ports that Laconia first travelled to on her world voyage. So Queen Victoria will be visiting 10 of the Laconia original ports of call, and Queen Mary 2 will visit 4 of the original ports of call from the Laconia first round world voyage. So a really exciting time. I'm very excited to be able to share with you some of those ports of call. And I've got another video just to give you a little insight into where we'll be traveling to. So some snippets there of where our ships will be going. Gives me goosebumps actually, thinking about how exciting it is to see those ships go into such spectacular ports around the world. So we'll start with Queen Victoria. Queen Victoria is embarking on a fantastic 101 night voyage. She'll be heading east. And she will do a fabulous full circumnavigation of the world. So she'll head transatlantic first of all, and she'll head over to New York, where she'll spend overnight. And then she heads down to the Caribbean, a fabulous transit through the Panama Canal. For anyone who's been lucky enough to travel via the Panama Canal before, you will know it's a real combination of rainforest and commercial and trading ports. Absolutely fabulous to transit through the Panama. She'll head up to San Francisco via Mexico, and then onto Hawaii, Samoa and the Tonga Islands, through to New Zealand. A fabulous half circumnavigation of Australia, including the Great Barrier Reef, and some really beautiful destinations. From Australia, she heads up to Asia, including the Philippines, overnights in Hong Kong, and then heads to Sri Lanka, Dubai, and then back through the Suez Canal, through to Lisbon, and then back into Southampton. So an absolute treat for destinations. She's got 26 ports of call across 20 countries. And overnights, like I say, including New York, San Francisco, Sydney, Hong Kong, Dubai and Singapore. She'll spend an average of 13 hours in port per day, so great opportunity to spend lots of time exploring some of these fabulous destinations. And I've just pulled out a couple of highlights of those destinations as well. So like I said, the Panama Canal, an absolute treat to be able to sail through the Panama and the Suez Canal on one spectacular voyage. San Francisco, so time to go and explore Alcatraz, overnight as well, go and explore Fisherman's Wharf and Union Square, some fantastic destinations there. Sri Lanka was one of our, and Colombo was one of our ports of call from the Laconia World Voyage, so a real spectacular UNESCO heritage site. And then the absolute wonders in Petra and Jordan. And as she transits through the Suez Canal, I don't know how, but guests always know to take crayons with them. So we find a lot of our guests take crayons and they throw them off to the side to the children running up the side of the ship as you transit through the Suez Canal. So another real highlight there for our guests. So beautiful destinations on Queen Victoria. You're really spoilt for choice in terms of those destinations. And then Queen Mary 2. So Queen Mary 2, our flagship, ship. She's absolutely beautiful. The world's ocean liner. I think if I was doing a world cruise, I think I'd be really hard pushed as to which ship, because Queen Mary 2 is definitely one of my favourites. She is built to do long ocean journeys. She's the world's only ocean liner, so she's really built for those fabulous sea stretches. So Queen Mary 2 will leave Southampton. She will head down through the Suez Canal. She'll call into Luxor, Abu Dhabi, and then she heads up to Asia. So she's got some fabulous stints, again, Colombo, Vietnam, Kuala Lumpur, Hong Kong, overnight, and then through to Singapore, and then down, and again, an almost full circumnavigation of Australia. She doesn't go as far over as New Zealand, so she carries on around the south of Australia, and then comes back, again, what a treat to come back via Mauritius and the Seychelles, across to South Africa, Cape Town, and then back up via Namibia and the Canary Islands back to Southampton. So not quite around the world, but certainly a fantastic opportunity. Queen Mary 2 sees enough of America throughout the rest of the year, so we like to give her the opportunity to see different destinations at this time of year. So again, some of the highlights would include the temples of Karnak in Luxor, a really just incredible destination. I think what someone alluded this is earlier, where one of the Indiana Jones films was set. So if you've got anyone who really wants to see some fantastic history, what a place to do it. There's absolutely stunning mosque in Abu Dhabi as well, is one of our highlights from Abu Dhabi. And when you get to Thailand, explore the fabulous islands and fabulous beaches of Phuket. Just a real treat for all of the senses. And then here's an absolute stunning snapshot of Queen Mary 2 leaving Cape Town with Table Bay in the background. And like I say, she overnights in Cape Town as well. So opportunity to go and have a small safari and tag that onto your cruise as well. And a real celebration and a real mix. So whatever whatever floats your boat in, excuse the pun, but something for everybody, whether it's the history and the culture you're into, or whether you want to sit back and relax and explore the beaches, then there is absolutely something for everyone on these world cruises. So a couple of things to point out. So Queen Victoria, she's one of our smaller ships, so she takes 2,060 passengers. So in the world of a cruise line, she's fairly small, and our ships have a fantastic ratio of space to guests and crew. We still have one crew member to every 2 guests on board as well. So absolutely, we know that you'll be well looked after. Something to highlight when you book the full round world voyage, so when you embark on the 101 or the 102 night durations, all guests will be welcomed on board with a welcome reception. You get to participate in exclusive world voyage cocktail parties that only guests that are traveling on the full round world voyage will be invited to. We have some fantastic shoreside events when you travel on the full round world voyage. So previous world voyages have included shoreside events in Sydney at the side of the Opera House, which again are exclusive events for our guests taking the full round world voyage. You get the services of World Voyage concierge and a private lounge area, so that guests who are travelling on the full experience together have the opportunity to have a separate lounge area and get to meet each other and catch ups throughout the duration of the voyage. And most importantly, I think for guests travelling on the full round world voyage, all of your hotel and dining service charges, so your gratuities, are all included in the fare. And we know, 101 nights, that can soon add up. So they are all included in your fare when you book. So that's Queen Victoria and Queen Mary 2, some highlights of where they're travelling to. And then I wanted to tell you about Queen Elizabeth. So Queen Elizabeth is doing something a little bit different to the other 2 ships. She will be based out in Australia for the season. And I think I've got a little video to show you what she'll be doing. So Queen Elizabeth, very exciting. She'll be based in Australia. I've just taken a snippet of some of the itineraries that I'm certainly most interested in, and just to showcase some of the fabulous journeys that she'll be doing. So with Queen Elizabeth, you can do anything between a 2-night duration to a 38-night duration. Depending on how long you've got. So she'll be based in Australia. She's got some incredible voyages that go right around Australia, calling at lots of different ports of call. And again, we'll give you a really fabulous mix of rainforest, the Great Barrier Reef, the fabulous cities to explore, and the outback as well. So really great opportunity to see Australia. From there, there's also some repositional cruises that carry on to New Zealand and see the North and the South Islands, and also some repositionals that head over to Asia as well. So we've got some fabulous trips going into Bali. And then from Australia, she'll spend Christmas and New Year in Australia for 2022, and then carry on in Australia for the rest of the season until she heads down to Asia. So I will play you another video just so you can see. This was our 2019, it would have been Queen Elizabeth deployment when she first went to Australia for a season. And I'll see if you can see what the bellboys, how we changed their uniforms when we got to Australia. See if you can work it out. So our bellboys uniforms were changed to what my children describe as Crocodile Dundee. So we had the uniforms all remade by RM Williams for the duration of our Australia itineraries. Just another example of quirky little things that we do on board to keep our guests entertained. So like I say, New Zealand, some fabulous trips then. From New Zealand, she will head down to Singapore. And then again, an absolutely stunning itinerary that takes you from Singapore, overnights in Vietnam, up to Hong Kong for an overnight stay, through the Philippines, and then carries on all the way through some of those fabulous Japanese islands that are really difficult to explore as part of a tour, and then carries on up to Tokyo, and then circumnavigates around Japan as well. So some absolutely fantastic destinations here, and things that are, they are part of trips of a lifetime, absolutely. The great thing with all of these itineraries is you can do as little or as much of them as you like. So if you want to just do a 6-night duration to take you from Singapore up to Hong Kong, absolutely you can. Or if you want to do the full 38-night duration, then you can do as well. So all of these itineraries, including the round world voyages, you can pick up any sector that suits you. So if you happen to be in Australia and wanted to do a 2-night short break, then you can do it from Sydney to Melbourne. So there's lots of different opportunities for you to be able to explore as you want to as well. And then, like I say, an absolute treat in Japan. We've got some new ports of call. So Busan in South Korea, which is quite a European influenced destination. Really beautiful, and Vladivostok, which is our maiden port of call for 2023. So we always try and get at least a maiden port of call. And one of my colleagues has described this as St. Petersburg versus meets Naples. So all of that, wonderful architecture that you see in St. Petersburg and Moscow versus the Naples, because you're on the coastline, and really beautiful marinas as well. So new destinations included in here as well for you. So you really are spoilt for choice, no matter what it is that you're looking for from your voyage. There is something for everybody. And I just thought I'd show you some key things to point out. So our accommodation, again, you're spoilt for choice. This is one of our balcony staterooms. So this is our leading balcony fares. Of course, we have fantastic inside single cabins, accessible staterooms as well. So this is one of the balconies. up to our Princess Grill suites, where you've got a separate seating area, separate lounge area to your bedroom as well. And then, of course, our Queen's Grill suites as well. So there is something for everybody, something for every budget, depending on the experience that you want. There is absolutely something for everybody. But most importantly, what's included within your fare. So no matter what stateroom type that you're booked into, when you book a Cunard fare cruise, you will be met with a bottle of bubbly when you get on board the ship. So every guest will have a welcome on board treat in their stateroom, all included in the fare. Things like bathrobes, slippers, toiletries, they are all included in your Voyager standard, and that is inside staterooms right up to the grill suites as well. So you don't have to worry about taking those little home from home comforts with you. 24-hour complimentary room service. So if you wanted to, you could spend every day on your world voyage having breakfast in bed, and you wouldn't have to get up if you didn't want to. So something I know some of the staff that I've done the transatlantic crossing with Miles Morgan, they definitely enjoyed the breakfast in bed on our transatlantic crossing previously. So the room service menu is absolutely fantastic. So if you want something more basic or just can't be bothered to move, then absolutely room service. We have our Britannia dining room. So we offer guests separate dining experiences, so 6:30 or 8:30 dining times currently. And we also have flexible dining venues around the ship as well. So we have the Club Britannia restaurants, our grill suites restaurants as well. They are all flexible dining if you prefer something more informal. And of course we have specialty dining. So we have the fabulous Veranda steakhouse and grill house with seafood in there as well, which does charge for lunch and evening meal, but it is absolutely phenomenal. Highly recommend. Afternoon tea, again, we serve absolutely every day of your voyage. So if you want afternoon tea every single day in the Queen's Room, then you can experience that all included in your fare. We also have things like the Golden Lion pub, where you can get your traditional pub food. So things like fish and chips, pie and mash. I always think, especially on a world voyage, when you really want that home from home comfort food, this will definitely be the place to get it. It's a fantastic venue in the ship. There is always something going on here. So, you know, typical British pub environment. So bingo, karaoke, pub quizzes. It's definitely one of my favourite venues, I think. We also have our World of Drinks packages. So you can pre-book drinks packages either before you go on your voyage or when you're on board. You can add the drinks packages on. As well, so that's something that you can definitely do if you didn't want to have any surprises at the end of your voyage. And then I just thought I'd share some of the fabulous venues on board the ship as well. So we have the absolutely stunning Yacht Club here on Queen Victoria. I think the chandelier is one of the original chandeliers from the original Queen Elizabeth ship. So really beautiful venue. This becomes a great venue for dancing, carries on until late in the evening with music. The Corinthia Lounge on Queen Mary 2, again, absolutely beautiful venue, perfect to sit and grab a coffee and tapas throughout the day, and then grab a cocktail and watch one of our pianists or jazz players in the evening. Really central point of the ship, great for a meeting place, and great to sit and watch the world go by in here as well. We've also got things like our planetarium on board Queen Mary 2. This becomes a venue for all sorts of activities. So we have our guest insight speaker program, and that will be part of the full world cruise as well. So we'll always have insights programs available with guest speakers. And all sorts of topics will be included, from Cunard historians to genealogy to artists, and all sorts of fabulous things. We also use this as a cinema venue in the evenings. So always something going on in here, as well as obviously the fantastic planetarium activities. We have the Royal Court Theatre So this is the Royal Quilt Theatre on Queen Victoria. Again, absolutely stunning venue. You really feel like you're in a West End show when you're sat in this venue. And entertainment can be anything from acrobatics to, you know, just fabulous bands and musicians, to comedians. There is always something different. We really mix up our entertainment so you don't run out of things to do or find that you're not interested. There is always something that you will be interested in. And then we have an absolutely stunning Queen's Room on all 3 ships. So the Queen's Room, we have the biggest ballrooms at sea. So the dance floor, this venue absolutely amazes me, because from 7 in the morning, whether it's a Pilates or a yoga class, to Zumba, to line dancing, fencing lessons, through to then afternoon tea is served in this venue as well. And then come the evening, we'll always have a live band on in here. There will always be a full dance floor, and all sorts of music as well. I think you know, it can range from salsa. We've had reggae bands on there, and you know, this venue just, it is an absolute fabulous destination. We have dance hosts as well, so if your other half won't dance or you're traveling alone, then there will always be somebody to dance with. And if this, you know, if you don't want the night to end, there are venues around the ship that will continue into late in the night as well. So there is absolutely just so much going on the ship. You definitely will not run out of things to do. Things like the ship choir. So we have a ship choir that you can take part in, art lessons, floristry classes. I always find when I'm on board, especially on Queen Mary 2, you absolutely just find so many new interests and hobbies. You can come back with completely different outlook on things that you enjoy, and find new things to keep you entertained as well. And this is just a snap of some of our dress codes. So especially in destinations like Australia, we know that guests don't want the formal wear. So you tend to find that in certain destinations, we relax our dress codes a little bit more as well. So please don't worry about dress codes and things like that. And most importantly, when are we going on sale? So the 16th of March, so next Tuesday, for Cunard World Club members. So if you're not sure if you're a World Club member, if you've sailed with us ever before, then you are one. And the Miles Morgan staff will be able to help you find your details if you're not sure. So we go on sale at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We are expecting really high demand. So I would say if you've got your eye on one of these voyages, please don't wait, because I don't want you to be disappointed if the stateroom that you were after, or the itinerary or the sector that you wanted, is no longer available. And then on the 17th of March, we'll be on general sale for anyone who hasn't booked with us previously, and then we'll be on sale for the 17th of March. So speak to your local store and they will be able to help you. And then what's in it for Cunard World Club members? If you've sailed with us before, then you will qualify for a 5% discount. So that will pull through automatically. You don't need to do anything. When you book, your Miles Morgan store will be able to pull that discount through for you, and make sure you get your best fares as well. And you know, if you've got any future cruise credits, please make sure you go and speak to stores. Miles, I'm sure, will tell you how you'll be able to book these, but your stores will be able to give you all of the information on the itineraries and the pricing. They've got all that information now, so don't wait until next week. If you want more information, then definitely contact them before next week and make sure that you're ready to go and set up for the day that we go on sale. And most importantly, we really can't wait to welcome you back on board. As Miles said earlier, it's really positive news that the UK government has, you know, said that cruising can start to look ahead now, which is really positive. And I can't wait to see the ships. I'm definitely missing them, and I'm missing our guests being on board as well. So no doubt you will be as well. So I will hand back to Miles, and I'm sure I have some questions. Pending.
You have got some questions. You have got some questions. Hang on a minute. Let me have a look what you've got. So the first one, are there any extra benefits for booking early? I mean, you did touch on that. And
yeah. So
if the price is reduced later on, do you get that money back, or what do you do?
So I would say the best time to book is always as soon as we come on sale. We are expecting, I think, bearing in mind that our 2020 voyages were cancelled halfway through, we haven't had a world voyage go this year. There are less cruise lines in the marketplace this year as well offering a world voyage. We are not expecting to have to drop prices at a later date. In fact, it's more likely to be the other way around, and fares more likely to increase rather than decrease because of high demand. So honestly, I would say if it's something that you want to do not wait. You might find if a certain sector doesn't sell, then you can never predict what's happened. Look at the market in the last year or so, but I would say always book early, definitely. Then extra benefits, so obviously the Cunard World Club members, your 5% discount, that's valid until the 1st of June, but the best fare will always be on the day that you launch.
Yeah, I think particularly with cruising, people are very often very particular about where their cabin's located, and probably that's the biggest advantage of booking early, is simply the choice of cabin location.
Yes.
It is big.
And especially for a long voyage as well, Miles. I think if you're sailing for a long time, you want to know you're in that perfect cabin that is going to give you the best possible experience as well.
Yeah, I think you're right. When do you anticipate sailing to South America again?
Great
question.
So we never offer the same round world voyage more than once. So we obviously were due to have a circumnavigation of South America or it would have been this year. And we changed that based on the fact that our 2020 voyages had cancelled. So I would say watch this space. We still have plans in the pipeline for a 4th ship coming, which will give us more opportunity to explore different destinations as well. So fingers crossed sooner rather than later, because again, it's another one that I have my eye on. Hopefully certainly in the next couple of years, but we generally alternate between a round world voyage and something that includes South America.
Okay. Richard, you've asked a question. Hi, Richard. How are you? I know Richard well enough. He's booked to go on the 14th of June. Itinerary includes Guernsey. Okay. Do you think he will be going? Is there a problem with people going into Guernsey? What's your thoughts on that one?
So I would say watch this space, Richard. So of course the government has approved domestic cruising this week. So we are in quick talks behind the scenes. I would say watch this space. You still will be in contact very, very soon. So we will be in contact as soon as we are confident that, we've got crew to enforce the new protocols and things like that. We will absolutely let you know. So. Okay.
Really good question here. We've always had a cabin towards the front of the ship. What is classed as the best place to be on a ship as far as cabin location? Good question.
It's a good question, and it's very controversial because I honestly think it depends who you speak to. Because I have had a stateroom at the very bottom where you can see the water. Not when I've sailed with Cunard, but in my previous jobs, and you could see the water bobbing on the outside of your porthole, and it's been absolutely fine. I've had suites in some of the most desired parts of the ship, and also been fine. And I am a terrible sailor, I must say. So I think. I don't think there is a great and a bad place. People always say in the middle and don't go in under the main deck, but I honestly think it is down to personal choice. I just like to have a couple of cocktails, and once I'm in that fabulous Cunard mattress, I sleep.
I mean, often people say that midships is the place to go because the two ends of the ship tend to go up and down more, in the middle doesn't. So if you're in any way seasick, midships suits more people better.
Yeah, and I mean, Queen Mary 2, she is built very differently as well. So I would say Queen Mary 2, I've done 2 transatlantic crossings through the winter months, and she just glides. She's got more stabilizers than any other ship in the world. So she's got 4 stabilizers. So she doesn't rock from back to front. If anything, she rocks side to side if she does experience bad weather. So actually, again, you almost feel like you get a rocking motion of going to sleep rather than the up and down. So yeah, I mean, if you were worried about that, Queen Mary 2 is definitely a great ship to be on if you are worried about, you know, seasickness or anything like that.
Well, that probably is one of my questions I would ask you is, you know, you have more than one ship. Can people just book on any of them, or is there substantial difference between them and people would enjoy one more than the other, or is it the experience the same?
So again, personal preference. You can ask one person. I'm sure any of you will been on board before. We'll have a preference. But Queen Mary 2, she is bigger than the other two ships. So she's the same size as some of the really big liner, you know, cruise ships out in the world. However, she only takes 2,600 guests. So she has, you know, if she was made for the number of passengers that could go on her, she would probably take almost double the number of guests. So the element of space on Queen Mary 2 is fabulous. She's got more venues, you know, more choice of restaurants and, you know, seating areas and things like that. So I like that. You know, you can walk around deck 12 and not see a soul. And I just love the fact that you can be sailing on a full cruise ship and not see anyone for an hour. I think is phenomenal. Queen Victoria is, I would say, a little bit more modern. So her suites are a little bit more modern on the inside, and Queen Mary 2, so than Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth, although she's the newest in the fleet, she's made to look a little bit older. So her fixtures and fittings in the stateroom are probably a bit more classic of what you would imagine of a cruise ship. But she's had a refit in the last 18 months as well. So they're all ready to you know, to be explored. They're fabulous. Yeah, I don't think you can. Again, I think it's one that if you ask me, I'm always really torn. I get on Queen Mary 2 and I just think she is heaven. And then I get on Queen Victoria and I think, oh, no, she's my favourite. I can never decide.
It's not easy. Kenneth is a fan. He says, we love Queen Mary 2. So there you go. That's nice. He also asked, can we get prices ahead of the 16th of March?
Yes. Yeah. So if you contact your store, your local Mars Morgan store, they'll be able to give you the fares. Okay, great.
Dress code on board.
Yep.
Does it vary between day and night? Does it vary in parts of the ship?
Yeah, so dress code again is always a funny one. People always have like preconception that I think they think we walk around in our ball gowns and tiaras the whole time, and it's so relaxed when you're on board. I would say in the daytime it is just like being on any other holiday. So as long as you're not walking into the main restaurants in your swimwear, you are absolutely fine in your, you know, your sundresses and your shorts and shirts. It's absolutely fine. All we ask is come 6 o'clock. Things are a little bit more formal. So for gentlemen, it tends to be a jacket and tie for dinner, and then tux. We generally have, in a week, we would normally have 2 formal nights. So of course, if you're on a full round world voyage, it is, I would say it is more relaxed, especially in certain parts. So like I say, once you get to Australia, they have, you know, they do relax it, and you tend to find that gents will just wear a jacket and a shirt, and, you know, a pair of chinos is absolutely fine, as opposed to the full tux. No one wants to be wearing a tux in that heat and things, but you get a real good mix. And some people will come on and, you know, I think my grandparents must take, I don't know how they have so many, you know, formal dresses and tuxes, and they love to get it all out of the cupboard and wear it. So again, you'll get a really good mix, but please don't think that it's really, really formal, because it's not. And actually, I'm really missing the opportunity to put those fabulous clothes on and, you know, feel a bit special when you're on board as well.
I think one of the things for people that have done a little bit of cruising and been on different ships is it's about how you feel on board as well. So if you take and name names of other ships, people like Royal Caribbean is a good example. The feeling on board is very different. It is way more casual. The environment is more casual, so therefore you dress more casual. On Cunard, the fixtures and fittings and look is so gorgeous that you want to dress appropriately to match it. Is that fair?
Really true. And I think the second that you step on board, you feel, even when you get to the terminal and approach the ship, you feel that sense of occasion when you get on board. And it gives me just thinking about how special you feel. The music's playing from the second you step on board. And honestly, if you don't take your formal wear, you think, oh my God, I wish I had. Absolutely.
Right, final question from me. I'll put you on the spot on another tricky one now. The grill suites are a lot more expensive.
Yep.
Why should I bother paying all that extra bit of money? Come on, tell me why I should pay more for a grill suite.
Now, so I have sailed in the grills once, and my husband's only sailed with us once, and that was in the grills suite. And I don't know how I can get him on board and not book a grills suite now, because and he always asks me, he's like, is that in the grills? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, okay. And you can see him thinking about, well, what is it like in the rest of the ship? So for me, the grills is all about having that extra bit of space, that more personal touch, I guess. So you have your separate lounge areas, your dining, like I said earlier, is flexible dining. You have areas of the ship, that are exclusive to the grills, but that doesn't then mean that it's a class system, because again, I know people always think there's classes. And actually, if you're not in the grill suites, you probably don't know those areas even exist. They have a fabulous sun terrace. If you're in the Queen's Grill, you have your minibar all included in the fare, and your butler service throughout the voyage. And it's small little finishing touches. I've stayed, when we stayed in the grills, there was a guest that wanted a certain type of steak from Florence, and off the butler, or the powers that be, went to Florence to get a certain type of steak. So it's for those guests that want the absolute best. And it's not for everybody. Some people love to be in the thick of the ship, but I would say for guests who want a smaller ship experience with big ship facilities, the grills is perfect. If you are, absolutely love the main dining room and those larger areas, then the balconies and the club balconies are equally phenomenal. But if you want just that extra touch and personal touch, then that is what the grills is all about.
Because your ships these days, in back in the day, you'd have said 2,500 passengers on board a ship. Is, my God, that's a big ship. Wow, that's loads of people. But these days, it's relatively small, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's probably half the size of some of our other competitors. So, and like I said, the space on board is phenomenal. So you never, even on, like I said, with 2,600 guests sailing at full capacity, I've never felt that, you have to go searching for a sunbed, or you have to, because I think there's so much going on the ship with different guest speakers and activities, that actually you never find people congregating in the same place, because there's always so much other things going on, which is what I love, definitely.
Very good. Well, if there's no other questions, you've done a good job, Michelle. You certainly got a few questions and you answered them all well, so well done. Anybody wanting, hang about, the grill suites are worth it, says Richard. Thank you very much. There we go. So there's a glowing endorsement from somebody that doesn't work for Cunard, which is fantastic. That's
he's after a discount, look.
Yeah, he'll probably type in, yes, please, how much can I have in a minute? So anybody interested in getting any prices, like somebody did ask on the chat, contact your local shop. They can obviously give you prices straight away. Any other questions you think of, supplementaries that you want to ask Michelle, we can get in contact with Michelle as well. So please ask away at any point in time. But thank you, everybody, for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. Michelle, thank you very much for your time. It was great. And I've got to be honest that some of those internal shots of those ships, it just looks sensational. Absolutely does. And just sums up how fab Cunard is. I'm a fan, I have to say. So thank you for your time. Thank you, everybody. And get in touch if you want to book. Take care.
Lovely to see you all. Bye.